Hi there, Year 4. Hope you are well. Happy Friday. Hope you're looking forward to another science lesson today. So we are going to be continuing our animals, including human topic, focusing on teeth. So before we get into that, let's do a bit of a recap on the lesson that we did last week. So I'm just going to share my screen, and hopefully you will have this quiz in front of you. If you've got the quiz sheet, then you can circle each answer. If you haven't been able to print that, then that's absolutely fine. Just on a bit of paper, if you write the numbers 1 to 7, I believe it is, and then just write the individual answer. So that's fine. So let's go through the questions when we were looking at the different types of teeth last week. So question 1, what is the main function of teeth? Is it to communicate? Is it to give our face shape? To chew our food, or to taste? What is the main function of teeth? If I go too quickly between any of these questions, please feel free to pause and just have a bit more time on them. Question 2, how many baby or milk teeth do children have? 15, 20, 24, or 32? Question 3, how many teeth do adults have? And the same options again, 15, 20, 24, or 32. Question 4, what type of teeth are wisdom teeth? Are they incisors? Are they canines? Are they premolars? Or are they molars? And question 5, how many canines do adults have? 4, 6, 8, or 10? So those are the questions on our last lesson that was in this unit. Now we're going back to last unit where we focused on sound. So the vibration of particles is called a what? So when the particles vibrate, it causes decibel, sound wave, intensity, or loudness. The vibration of particles is called a what? And going all the way back to last year when you were doing a unit on light, blank is an example of natural light. Is it television, mobile phone, a torch, or lightning? Which of those is an example of natural light? So hopefully you've gone through all of those now. Let's have a little look at the answers. So to chew our food is the main function of teeth. Children have 20 milk or baby teeth, 32 adult teeth. Wisdom teeth is just another name. It's a type of molar. The vibration of particles is called a sound wave. And lightning is that example of natural light. All the others are man-made. So hopefully you did well. Make sure you've marked those before we move on. So today our waltz, oh, and I can see that I've actually put the wrong date. I've done a year too early. It's just I'm very used to writing 2020, so apologies about that. That should of course be 2021. So our waltz today is to describe the functions of different types of teeth. So we looked at the names last time, and now we're going to be looking at what each of those teeth actually do. So, as a quick recap, can you remember what each type of tooth is called and how many adults have of each of them? So pause the video now. Can you name the 4 main types of teeth, even though there are 5? And also how many do adults have of each one of these types of tooth? Okay, pause the video now. So hopefully we remembered that this tooth over here, this tooth over here is called an incisor. So this one is an incisor. And how many do we have of those? Hold that in your head and call out, please, in 3, 2, 1. Hopefully calling out 8. We have 4 at the top and 4 at the bottom, right at the front of our jaw. Then we move slightly further back, where we have these types of teeth here. What are they called? Again, hold it in your head and call out, please, at your laptop screen, nice and loud. 3, 2, 1. Canines, hopefully we said. And how many of those do we have? 3, 2, 1. 4. We have 4 canines. one in each corner of our mouth at the top there and at the bottom. Well done. Then we move on from canines. We go a bit further back and we have this type of tooth here. And again, hold that in your head. What is that type of tooth called? And we're going to call that out in 3, 2, 1. Excellent job. Well done. Those are our premolars. Our premolars there. Those short, those small and flat ones. And how many of those do we have? Yeah, I know it's a lot of calling out, but really important that we remember these. 3, 2, 1. Hopefully we said 8 of those. So we have 2 in each corner of our mouth. And then finally we go further back and we have this large flat tooth over here. And that name is called 3, 2, 1. Molars. Excellent. Remember, premolars means before molar. So after that, we get the molars, and we have last time, guys, so make sure we have a lot of enthusiasm for this. How many molars do we have in our mouths as adults? 3, 2, 1. Just like the premolars and the incisors, we have 8 of those. Very well done. And they're at the back. And then, of course, we have our wisdom teeth, which come through a bit later, and adults have up to 4 of those. Really well done, guys. So let's move on to our new learning for today. And today we're going to think about the shape of each type of tooth and what function it has. So what job it does in our mouth. So we looked at incisors last week. If we have a look at it here, this is the front view. So you can see we remembered that by thinking of incisors, because they're they come down and they cut things just like scissors do. And you can see from this side view over here that it's shaped just like a shovel. So why do you think, feel free to pause the video here, why do you think it's that shape? Why would that be useful to us? So we're going to have a little look at that now. So incisors cut food like a pair of scissors. So incisors' job is to cut. Again, what is the job of incisors? 3, 2, 1. So it's to cut food. So incisors cut. Excellent. And as we looked at last week, they are shaped like small shovels, like spades. They have sharp edges that help us bite into our food. So if you think about if you're eating an apple or something like that, that is the tooth that you're going to use first because it's going to cut into them. You're not really going to go into an apple for the side of your mouth. So that whenever you want to sink your teeth into something, you would use your incisors. And incisors are usually the first set of teeth to come through the gum as babies, appearing about 6 months old, so half a year old. That's when your incisors, your cutting teeth, are going to come through. And that's because they're going to help you eat the most basic kinds of food. So incisors used to cut food. So moving back, we have our canines. Now, if you look at how the canines are shaped, so we've got some lovely pictures of mouths over here. How are they shaped? And why do you think it's that shape? So feel free again, pause the video, have a think about what shape are our canines and why do you think they are this shape? So canines, we can see here, I said that they're kind of like our vampire teeth. They're almost like fangs. And they're sharp and they're pointy. And the reason that they're sharp and pointy is their job is to tear food, much like a fork. So remember, incisors' job is to cut food. Our canines' job is to tear food. And they're situated in the corners of our what are called the dental arches and sit right next to our incisors. And you have 2 canines at the top, there and there, and 2 canines at the bottom of your mouth, there and there. Now, do you remember what animal the word canine means? If you say canine, it relates to what kind of animal? Hopefully we've all remembered that from last week. It's a dog. And so that makes it really easy to remember that they tear into things. If you imagine a dog ripping at a steak or at a bone or something, they'll use their canines to really, really rip into it. And if you think, actually, if you were to take something like a steak, something quite chewy that you need to rip into, if you think of how you put it in your mouth, you don't cut into it with your incisors, you automatically will kind of instinctively put it into the side slightly so your canines can kind of pull it apart like a fork. Now, these come through slightly later in a baby's mouth, around the ages of 16 to 20 months. So sort of between 1.5 to kind of 2 years, they will start coming through. So the upper ones will come in first because they sort of give you the most grit, and then will come the lower canines. So as a quick recap, what is the purpose? What is the job of incisors? Just really a one-word answer there. What do they do to food? 3, 2, let's call it out together. 1, they cut food. They cut food just like scissors. And canines, what is their job again? 3, 2, 1, tear. Good, so the canines tear and the incisors cut. Now, what you're going to do next to the picture of each tooth, you're going to write a short description about the teeth. So I'm going to go across to my visualizer here, and this is the worksheet that I've got for you. If you don't have it, that's absolutely fine. If you like, you can even draw your own illustration on a bit of paper of your tooth, and then just write the paragraph next to it. So you don't actually need this sheet, as long as you know what your description must include of each type of tooth. So I'm going to do this with you guys for the first one. So we need to mention the name of the tooth, how many of these types of teeth adults have, where they are in the mouth, what shape they are, and also the purpose, the function, the job of each tooth. So we can use this like a tick list. So the first thing we're going to do is the name of the tooth. So what tooth is this one here? That is, of course, the incisor. So let's use that straight away. So the incisor so we can tick off the name of the tooth is, and we need to mention how many of these types of teeth adults have. Well, how many incisors do we have? I remember we've got 4 at the top and 4 at the bottom, so we've got 8. The incisor appears 8 times in an adult's mouth. 8 times in an adult's mouth, full stop. So I've now mentioned how many of these teeth we have. What's next on the checklist, can you see? So we need to say where they are in the mouth. So think about where the incisors are. Well, I know there are 4 incisors in the front of our mouth at the top and 4 at the bottom. Great, so where are they in the mouth? I can definitely tick that now. What's the next thing I need to do? So there are 2 more. I need to say what shape they are and also the purpose of the tooth. So what job it does. So what shape are they again? Remember, they're like a type of tool that you would get. So I remember they are shovel shaped and are used to, what are they used to do again? Incissor, they're used to, that's right, they're used to cut our food. So I've mentioned what shape they are, tick, and the purpose to cut our food. So I've gone through the tick list, very happy with that. Let's read through it one more time. So the incisor appears 8 times in an adult's mouth. There are 4 incisors in the front of our mouth, at the top, and 4 at the bottom. They are shovel-shaped and are used to cut our food. That is a perfectly good description of the incisor. It tells us all of these bits of information over there. So I can say very, very happy with that. So what I would like you to do, please, can you write your own description for the incisor, which I know is going to be very similar to mine, I'm sure. And then can you also do the same for the canines down here? Make sure you are using this checklist down here. So remember, one description for the incisor, and one for the canine as well. So I'm going to leave my one on here. You've got the checklist up there, and you've got my example paragraph down here. And if you would like to go back at any stage in the video to look at for me to go over those teeth again, that is absolutely fine. So pause your video now. Can you complete the incisor and the canine paragraph, please? Off you go. Excellent. So hopefully you have finished those two paragraphs here for the incisor and the canines. Let's go back to the presentation now. So now we're going to move on to our next two teeth. So we have got the premolar. So what shape is it, and why do you think it's this shape? Well, hopefully you'll remember from last week that they're small and they're flat teeth. Now, why do you think that would be? Think about how you're eating and when you would use those teeth. So premolars grind food. Now, grinding means they sort of rub the food together and break it down into smaller bits so that we're able to swallow them. So the canines might chop them into larger bits, and then we need to use our premolars to grind that food down. Your premolars sit right next to your canines. There are 4 on top and 4 at the bottom, so 2 on each corner of the mouth. So premolars are bigger than canines and incisors. They have a flat biting surface, and they have ridges. If you see here on the picture, you see they go up and down, and that really helps kind of grind it together so that things are easier to swallow. Because if they were those big chunks that the canines break off or the incisors break off, then it would probably make it quite hard to swallow things. There's a bigger risk of choking. So the premolars grind it down. Baby molar teeth are replaced by adult teeth, and children don't have premolars because these teeth start to come in around the age of 10. So you get these much later in your life. So remember, premolars, they grind the food. Now onto the final tooth, the molars. So again, pause the video. What shape is it? What tooth is it almost very similar to? And why is it that shape? What job do you think the molars do? So pause that video now. So hopefully you can see that they're quite similar in shape. They are larger, but similar shape in terms of the ridges that they've got to premolars. And the reason for that is also they grind food, just like the premolars grind food, but they also chew. So the premolars grind food, the molars chew and grind. So remember, we have 8 molars, but also up to 4 wisdom teeth as well. So that makes 12 in total. So it's not a typo, that's just counting our wisdom teeth as well. So your 12 molars are your biggest teeth and your strongest teeth, which remember is why it has the 2 big roots over here. And the large surface area, so the big size, helps you grind the food. And when you eat, your tongue pushes the food to the back of your mouth, and then your molars break it down. So if you imagine how you eat, if you took an apple, for instance, you bite into it with your incisors. Your canines probably wouldn't be used that much. And then your sort of tongue instinctively pushes it back to your mouth, where your premolars would grind it, and then you would chew with your molars until it's of suitable size for you to swallow. And the molars include 4 wisdom teeth, which, as we talked about, are the last teeth to come through, usually between the ages of 17 and 25. So let's go through those. So what is the purpose of we'll start right at the beginning with our incisors. What job does it do? Thinking of scissors. 3, 2, 1. Great, they cut our food. What is the job of canines? 3, 2, 1, tear our food. Excellent, they tear our food. Then, what is the job of our premolars? 3, 2, 1. Great, hopefully you've got they grind our food, they grind it down. And then what is the job of molars? They have 2 jobs here, remember. 3, 2, 1. They chew and grind. Excellent. So using your knowledge of what we've done, if you flip over the sheet, or if you don't have one, remember just draw the pictures there and write the paragraphs either side. Don't worry about the extension just yet. Could you please complete the premolar and the molar paragraph over here, remembering to use that checklist that you used last time. Okay, so I will leave that there. Pause the video and resume once you have finished those 2 paragraphs. Off you go. Excellent. So hopefully you have had a chance to finish your premolar and your molar paragraph. Well done, guys. Now, if you feel ambitious and you want to go that bit further, there is an extension for you to do. So imagine you're eating an apple. Which tooth type would you use first and why? So we have discussed that during this lesson. Which other teeth would you need to use? Oh, don't like that spelling error. Before you were able to swallow the bite, and how would you use these? Write a short paragraph explaining what teeth you would use to eat an apple and why. So if you've got this sheet again, the extension I will leave on here. Feel free to write a paragraph underneath or on a separate piece of paper is absolutely fine. So imagine you're eating an apple. Think about what tooth you would use first and why. Which other teeth would you need to use before you're able to swallow the bite? So first, what teeth would you use? Then what tooth would you use after and why? And then before you swallow. So I will let you crack on with your extension. Remember, you don't need to do this. This is only if you want to, if you would want to sort of push yourself and feel like you could answer this question really well. And we'll go through maybe an answer together afterwards. Okay, off you go. So if you're still on the lesson now, I'll take that for meaning that you've written your extension. Really, really well done, guys. I'm looking forward to reading these. So let's go through what you might have written there. Just going to share the screen. There we go. So hopefully we've got, you would start, of course, with the incisors to cut down, to cut that food and take off a big chunk. Then your tongue would move it back, the chunk of apple back to the premolars and the molars to grind down that food. The molars would then chew it to break it down into really small pieces and then allowing you to swallow. Really well done, guys. So before we finish, let's just do one recap quiz to see how much you've remembered from this lesson. So going back onto this presentation, sharing the screen. So 5 questions. Feel free to pause the video. I'll read them very quickly, then pause the video and circle the correct answers. Well, you won't have this on your sheet, so just feel free to write down on a piece of paper which words you think the answer is. So, which teeth are used for chewing and grinding food? Where are the molars located in your mouth? Which teeth cut off food like a pair of scissors? And which teeth are pointed and sharp so they can tear into food? Pause the video now, give that quiz a little go and resume when you are ready. Well done, guys. Off you go. Excellent. Fantastic, guys. That's a really, really well done. You've done a lot of work today. Fantastic for all of you that have stayed on and done the extension, done the quiz as well. Let's flick through the answers. So, of course, chewing and grinding food is the molars. The molars are located in the middle of the mouth, near the back. If you put as well at the very back of the mouth, you wouldn't be wrong there as well. So I would accept both answers because really the molars are sort of middle back. And then if you're counting the wisdom teeth, then they would be at the very back of the mouth. So either of those, I wouldn't be too picky with that. Which teeth cut off food like a pair of scissors? That's, of course, the incisors. And which teeth are pointed and sharp so they can tear into food is, of course, the canines. Excellent job today, guys. Really, really fantastic work. I can't wait to see these paragraphs on Seesaw. Fantastic job with all that you've been doing. What was I going to say? Yeah, have a wonderful weekend. If you've got any more home learning to do, best of luck with that. And I look forward to seeing you for another science lesson on Friday, where we're going to be looking at animals' teeth. So very well done, guys. Bye-bye.